What's good, people? Been a while. Just wanted to stop by and give my thoughts on a few things that's been happening in boxing or hasn't been happening in boxing. You know, I think enough people have talked about the Delian White situation enough, so I'm not really gonna go there. But I do want to talk about the news that Billy Joe Saunders is leaving Frank Warren, and the whole Billy Joe Saunders and Frank Warren pairing was always strange to me because Billy Joe has never really done a whole lot in his career. His one big memorable fight was against David Lemieux, and that's it. And before that, he was WBO champ, and he really didn't do a whole lot. He didn't unify. Frank was always talking about he was going to get some big fight sometime. That big fight never came. So people are speculating that he might be going with Eddie Hearn. I'm not sure who else he could possibly go with. Eddie Hearn has all the middleweights. Well, all the middleweights that's worth a damn, I should say. He also has a super middleweight unification fight for him because we all know Billy Joe has moved up to super middleweight since he ducked them two fights against Demetrius Andrade. And I just think it's an absolute joke. I think Billy Joe really has to get his career in gear. This man ain't been doing shit. He pretty much rubbished his WBO middleweight belt, and he won his super middleweight belt after people criticized Demetrius Andrade of winning his Billy Joe Saunders middleweight belt by fighting Walter Kauta Ndokwa, which was a replacement because Billy Joe Saunders pissed hot. And people still have the nerve to be shitting on Demetrius because he fought who he fought. But still support Billy Joe for fighting absolutely nobody for a super middleweight belt. I don't know. Billy Joe Saunders is a weird dude. I hope he does sign with Hearn because, as we know, Eddie Hearn will make the fights. I do have to big up Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn is really pushing boxing in the right direction. Eddie Hearn is about making the fights, even though it comes sometimes at the expense of his fighter. But what I like about Eddie Hearn is that Eddie Hearn puts the sport first. He's going to make money regardless because he's going to put on big events and make his profit off the sport. But he's not going to hide his fighters and just have them fighting nobodies like PBC and Top Rank and these people, So I respect Eddie Hearn for that, So I wouldn't mind seeing a Billy Joe Saunders versus Callum Smith, of course. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Demetrius Andrade finally because I think Demetrius beats Billy Joe. But you never know. I don't think Billy Joe has fought at any world-class level for a long time, if ever, really. And I really, really, really hope he signs with Hearn. Even though, really, Billy Joe Saunders, him and Tyson Fury and these people are making decisions based on money. I'm not sure where else he's going to get the money other than with Eddie Hearn. Next thing I want to talk about, I saw an interesting Twitter exchange with Michael Hunter and some fans. And, he, of course, he was talking about when is his next fight, blah, blah, blah. So some guy said, you should sign with PBC. And he said, I was with PBC. They gave me like one fight in 2 years. And the person asked him, well, what do you get with Matchroom? He's like, the most stability I've ever had in my career. And then right after that, his fight against Sergey Kuzmin was announced. Now this again proves what I'm saying. Eddie Hearn gives his fighters the best opportunities out there. People like Michael Hunter, people like that were in no man's land. These people couldn't get a fight. These people, were on the outside looking in. And now he has some stability. And this Sergey Kuzmin fight is a really good fight for Michael Hunter. I'm anxious to see the fight. Next, but of course, I have to speak about the Wizard of Oz, Mr. Deontay Wilder. Mr. I don't want to be great, I want to be famous. Mr. It ain't about the belt, it's about the money. You know what I'm saying? Mr. I'm not taking 120 million because I don't know how much he's going to make, Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder was quoted on Twitter trashing Tyson Fury's next fight against Otto Wallin. I don't want to talk about Tyson Fury. I'm talking about Deontay Wilder. And Deontay said, he's fighting all these trash cans, blah, blah, blah. All this nonsense. He's talking about how, he keeps, this is on Michael Benson's Twitter, by the way. And he said he keeps pulling out all these night shift graveyard workers. Bullshit at its best. No Englishman's coming over here and saving America with Tom Shores and Otter, whoever he is, talking about he's the best with an invisible belt. Does Deontay Wilder forget that invisible belt is what they marketed as WBC versus the man who beat the man, lineal belt holder, blah, blah, blah bullshit? Does he forget that he said after he becomes lineal champion, he's the A side and all this shit, and he wants 60-40 against Anthony Joshua? Now it's an invisible belt, and it's bullshit. Deontay Wilder got to be the worst guy, the worst heavyweight champion in history. I keep saying that. Not because you've had people who've been like, one fight belt holders and blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about just Deontay Wilder's whole demeanor. He's such a bullshit artist, right? He's talking about Tyson Fury, keeps fighting night shift, graveyard work. What Deontay Wilder is talking about? Deontay Wilder has had one credible fight in his career. He won one credible fight in his career. One. Against Luis Ortiz. One. And some people feel he got special treatment in that fight. And we damn sure know he lost against Tyson Fury. So is he one of these graveyard shift workers that Tyson Fury keeps fighting? Because Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is talking about no Englishman's coming to save America. Goddamn right, because you, Deontay, are an American, and you couldn't even save America. You've been champ since, 2015, longer than everybody? You still ain't sold out a goddamn stadium yet. Anyway, man, that's just it from me. Y'all peace out. Have a nice day.